My name is Arisima, and I grew up in a quiet village where life moved slowly and faith guided every home. My parents were simple people, gentle and hardworking. We did not have much, but our house was filled with peace. Even as a child, I felt different. Not special, not important, just different. While other children ran through the fields, shouting and laughing, I liked silence. I liked sitting alone under the big tree near our home, listening to the wind and feeling close to God without saying a word. I spent many afternoons in our small church. I sat in the corner while the priests prayed, and the soft sound of their voices made my heart feel calm. Sometimes people asked why I didn't play like the others, but I didn't know how to explain it. My heart was always searching for something deeper. My mother would look at me with a soft smile and say, "Arisima, your heart is older than your age." I didn't fully understand what she meant, but I felt her words were true. As I grew, I didn't desire fancy clothes or parties or attention. I found my happiness in helping my neighbors, visiting the sick, and praying quietly. My heart leaned toward a simple life, a life of kindness, service, and faith. At 17, something inside me became stronger. I felt God calling me gently, pulling my soul toward a life dedicated to Him. It wasn't loud or frightening. It was soft, like a warm hand guiding me. One evening, I sat with my parents and said, "I want to give my life to God." My mother's eyes filled with tears, not of sadness, but of deep emotion. My father nodded slowly, his voice low. "If this brings peace to your heart, we will support you." Their blessing gave me strength. From that moment, I lived with intention. I prayed every morning. I helped the poor every afternoon. I read scripture in the evenings. People in the village began to know me for my gentleness, not my beauty or status. I never saw myself as special. I was just a young woman trying to follow God with my whole heart. I didn't know that my quiet, peaceful life was about to change. That my name would reach a powerful king, that danger would come to my home, and that faith would become my only shelter. But at that time, I was simply Arisima, a girl with a soft heart, walking a path she did not yet understand. The day after the soldiers first came to the village, the air felt heavy. My parents tried to stay calm, but I could see fear in their eyes. Everyone knew the king would return, because kings do not forget what they want. Before noon, we heard horses. Loud, fast, angry. My mother froze. My father's face tightened. I felt my heart drop. Soldiers stopped right in front of our house. They didn't knock. They pushed the door open and walked inside. My father immediately stood in front of me, spreading his arms wide, blocking me completely. "You will not touch my daughter," he said, his voice shaking but strong. The captain stepped forward. "Move," he said. "The king wants her. She must come." My mother grabbed my hand so tightly it hurt. She whispered with trembling lips, "Stay behind your father, Arisima." The captain looked around the house, searching every corner. "Where is she? Don't lie to us." My father didn't move. He stood like a wall. "She belongs to God." "Not to your king," he said. The captain's face darkened. "We can take her by force," he said. My father's voice broke, but he didn't step aside. "You will not take my child like she is an object. If she goes by her own choice." The soldiers looked at me now, angry, impatient. My legs trembled, but I stayed behind my father's shoulder. The captain finally spoke again. "You have 1 day," he said coldly, "1 day. If she does not come with us tomorrow, the king will punish this house and this village." Then they turned and left, slamming the door behind them. My mother collapsed on the floor crying. My father sat beside her, tears running down his face, something I had never seen before. "Arisima," he whispered. "They will come back with violence. I cannot stop an army." I knelt next to him, my heart breaking. "I know, Father." That night I did not sleep. I sat in the corner of our home watching the shadows, listening to my parents cry softly. I prayed for hours, asking God for courage. At dawn I made my decision. I walked to my parents and said with a soft voice, "I cannot let the king harm our village. I have to leave, before they return." My mother cried harder, covering her mouth so her screams wouldn't wake the neighbors. My father looked at me with swollen eyes and whispered, "You are our gift, Arisama, but you were always God's first." They held me like they were holding their whole world and losing it. When it was time to go, my father hugged me tightly, his arms shaking. "My child," he whispered, "if I could carry your pain, I would, but God will walk with you where I cannot." And with that, I stepped outside into the cold morning, leaving behind everything I loved to protect the people who had loved me all my life. I was afraid. I was alone, but I knew God was with me. The morning I left my village, the world felt too big. The road stretched in front of me like an endless line, and each step felt heavier than the last. I kept looking back, hoping to see my parents one more time, but I knew if I saw them, I would not have the strength to leave. I whispered to myself, "God, stay close to me," even when my voice trembled. By noon, the sun was strong, and my legs were shaking from walking too long. I had no food, no water, and no place to hide. Every sound made me jump. Every shadow made my heart race. I felt like I was running from a storm that never ended. Still I walked. As the sky began turning orange, I reached a small forest. I found a fallen tree and sat there, trying to catch my breath. My hands were shaking. My feet were burning. The fear I had held inside all day suddenly spilled over, and tears fell down my face. I missed my mother's soft voice. I missed my father's strong arms. I missed the safety of home. While I cried quietly, I heard something moving in the bushes. My heart froze. I held my breath. For a moment, I was certain the king's soldiers had found me. But it wasn't soldiers. An older woman stepped out of the trees. She carried a basket of herbs and walked with calm, steady steps. When she saw me, she stopped and studied my face gently. "You look tired, child," she said. I didn't know what to say. My voice felt trapped in my throat, so I only nodded. "Are you alone?" she asked softly. I whispered, "Yes." She didn't question me anymore. She simply held out her hand and said, "Come. No girl should wander alone in fear." I hesitated just for a moment, but something in her eyes felt safe, warm, motherly. I took her hand. She led me through the trees until we reached a small home made of wood and clay. Smoke curled gently from the chimney. The place smelled of bread and herbs. Inside, everything felt peaceful. She gave me water first, then warm food, then a blanket. She didn't ask for my story. She didn't ask why I was running. She simply said, "Rest. God brings people together for a reason." That night, I slept for the first time without fear. In the morning, she took me to a quiet community of women who lived lives of prayer and kindness. They accepted me without hesitation. They gave me a place to sleep, clothes to wear, and work to keep my heart steady. Slowly, my spirit healed. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. And I became someone new. Stronger, calmer, braver. One day, travelers came with news. The king searched for the girl, but she vanished. He eventually gave up. Hearing this, I closed my eyes and breathed deeply. It felt like a weight lifted off my chest. My parents were safe. My village was safe. And I was safe. I learned that courage is not loud. Sometimes it is quiet. Sometimes it is choosing to walk into the unknown. Because love asks you to. I never returned home, but my heart carried my parents with me wherever I went.